Hi everyone, my name is Angela Benton, and I'm here to speak to you about the world hunger crisis. Martin Luther King once said, "I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, quality, and freedom for their spirit. I believe that what self-centered men have torn down, other-centered men can build up. You can be those other-centered men and women. The world crisis hunger is real. We need to focus on that." As college students, we often think, I don't have enough money for my nails to be done. I don't have enough money to go to that concert. And sometimes we even relay it into we don't have enough money to eat. But almost every single one of us probably eats very well every day. We eat what we want. We have time to snack on food. Not everyone in the world has that luxury. Hunger is affecting a large number of people in the world. The United Nations cites that up to 870 million people have suffered from malnutrition between the years of 2010 and 2012. And the problem doesn't end around the world. The problem continues here in the United States. The United States, 1 in every 6 Americans struggles to find their next meal. This is an outrageous number. This problem is serious. Insufficient food may lead to fatigue, abnormal low body weight, and eventually can even lead to death. So many children die every year because of hunger. Those who don't eat adequately also suffer protein deficiencies and other ailments that can cause a lot of problems for them, a lot of pain and suffering. According to the World Food Program, between the years of 2001 and 2009, the numbers of hungry people have increased. Hunger is a persistent issue that has been going on for decades and shows no signs of going away or fixing itself. The youth who are afflicted by undernourishment may suffer long-term effects. According to No Hungry Kid organization, upwards of 48 million Americans struggle with hunger at some point during the year. That's a number we can't continue to live with. So what can our government do? Well, our government can begin by keeping our school meals nutritious. Children will get the nutrients they need at least 5 days out of the week for at least 1 to 2 meals. If we can keep these programs and make them free or reduced in price for those who can't afford it, at least we can't let those children suffer. No matter what your views on welfare system is, on helping people who don't want to work, no matter what those views are, those children cannot suffer. By struggling and not having food to eat, it causes a lot more problems in the end. They don't get a good education. Education is key to becoming successful. 45% of all children's deaths are caused by hunger. That's 3.1 million children each year. And 1 out of every 6 children in developing countries is underweight. 66 million school children go to school hungry every day. Another thing we can do, that the government could possibly do, is help continue education for breastfeeding. Breastfeeding can prevent 1,000 deaths every year if children were breastfed exclusively for the first 6 months. That's $13 billion a year in healthcare costs that we could help save. $13 billion a year that can go to help other people who are hungry as well. Finally, our government can prevent land grabbing. We can pass legislation to stop land grabbing. The land out in Africa, which is where 70% of land grabbing that occurs happens, that's including other developing countries. If we can prevent this, we can use the land not for whatever purposes somebody might have for themselves, no, for greed, but we can help farmers learn to tend the land. Learn to develop the land, grow food, provide more nutrition for those who live in those developing countries. For all those children that are suffering from hunger every day. Those children that go to bed not knowing when their next meal might come. Land grabbing needs to stop. Approximately every 5 seconds someone dies from hunger. It's a number we can't continue to see. And every 3 minutes, 1 child dies from hunger. Land grabbing can continue to If we don't stop land grabbing, that number will not drop. We need that to drop. We need those children to eat. We need them to get an education, to grow, so that they can help develop their countries. And over time, we can see prosperity in those countries. Can you really stand to see these children in this picture and know that they have gone to school possibly hungry, that they may not know when they're going to eat again? You can't let that continue. So what is it you can do? We're college students. We think, there's not much we can do, right? Well, some of us might have money. Some of us might know people who have money that could help donate. Donating is one way we can help. You can donate to groups such as the United Nations World Food Program and Bread for the World. These two programs make sure that people around the world, including in our own areas, get food. You can also set up a fundraiser locally. You can do a garage sale perhaps with people donating items they no longer want, items they're just going to get rid of. Raise the funds, donate it to these organizations. So you don't have money, you can do that. I'm sure you have stuff laying around your dorm room that you no longer need, or your apartment, your parents' houses, things you no longer want or need. You can put it to good use. If you don't have time or money for a garage sale to donate, you can always donate some of your time to a soup kitchen. There are thousands of children that go to soup kitchens every day to get a meal, to get one warm meal throughout the day. It's not just at Thanksgiving that they need food throughout the year. You can hold a food drive. I can tell you a story from when I was younger. About 12 years ago, I did my first food drive that changed my outlook on everything. I donated food. We collected food as a group, and as teenagers, I was about 16 at the time. We took the food, we bagged them, made them for each family, and we delivered them to these families as a pair. When I pulled up to that first house and gave them the food, the looks on those children's faces and on the parents' faces of happiness and the tears streaming down their face, I have to say I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe that there were people that were so grateful just to receive one meal from us. Just one meal. When I went back to my car, I could only drive about a block down the road, and I had to stop because the tears were just streaming down my face. The looks on those children's faces and on that family's face that day, the gratitude they had for the little thing we did, for that little bit of time it took me, it's something that will always stay with me. And it's something that you can do. Something you should do if you have that opportunity. Another way you can do if you don't have time to do a food drive, if you can't seem to find that kind of time, you can influence the government. We need a difference in the government. We need legislation to be passed to help end hunger. You need to vote, change the legislature, feed the hungry. Make a difference no matter where you are or who you are. Whether you're in America or in another country, it doesn't matter. You can make a difference around the world. We need to vote in leaders who say that they're not going to allow a child to die on their watch. It's not going to happen, not from hunger. We need leaders like that, not leaders that are worried more about their own trips, about their own families, and not worrying about us and about those that live around us. Now, I know a lot of times we may not have a lot of free time. That you may work, you may go to school, you may even have children that you have to take care of, and you just, quite frankly, don't have the time for other things. That's okay. There's little things you can do. 2 easy ways that you can help in just a couple minutes a day, and one of them even just as little as a few seconds a day. The first one is visiting freerice.com. Freerice.com will allow you to play simple word games, and for every correct answer they will donate 10 grains of rice. 10 grains. 10 grains doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up if you play for a few minutes. And if thousands of people play, how many grains of rice do you think that is? The second way will only take you about 10 seconds. At most, you log into thehungersite.com. The Hunger Site has a button you simply have to click. Click one time. And each click that you do, one click every day, gives 1.1 cups of food. Can you imagine the difference that you can make? Can you imagine the difference that if 10 people from each city around the country make? Can you imagine the difference that could make? You can do one click a day. Make it your homepage. Every time you log into the computer, click once. That's all you need. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good together that overwhelm the world. Those are the words of Desmond Tutu. If you can see the hunger in a child's face, you can make a difference. Even in the smallest way, every little difference counts. So what are you waiting for? When you leave here today, think about these images. Think about these people you've seen today. Think about the hunger that's going on around the world. Think about everything you have and be grateful for what you have, and take the time that you can to make a difference.